For today's review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine. This character needs no introduction, as I know many of you know who this character is. And with that said, let's dive into it. What accessories does this figure include? Well, the first two accessories, of course, are his adamantium claw hands. And I think these are nicely sculpted. They don't look too bad. They get the job done for photography. The only problem I have with these claws are the fact that they are using soft PVC, and soft PVC tends to warp during the summer, depending on how you have this figure posed. And yeah, it's not fun, because when that happens, you have to heat up the claws and try to straighten them back up. And as you can see, this side, the claws are somewhat warped, like this one is like not, aligned properly. So I have to fix that. As for this side, I think it's okay. Let me see. Yeah, this one's not... Yeah, this side's not too bad. But, yeah, you get the point. Not a fan of the soft PVC. I wish these were, like, solid plastic, so they're not, like, easily, bendable like this. I get why they use soft PVC, because, in some cases, if you were to drop this figure on accident... if you have them in like some sort of pose, these won't break that easily because of the fact that they are soft. But still, I don't like the fact that they warp. So there's that. And now let's move on to his other two interchangeable hands. So if you don't want him to have his claws out, he does come with a pair of fist hands where his claws are retracted, which is really nice. So I do like the fact that those are included. And he also has an alternate head sculpt where he's not wearing the mask. And the expression on this one, he's not angry, but he's not happy either. I mean, how do I describe this? You know what? The best way to describe this is the normal Logan expression that he has on his face all the time. So that's what that looks like to me. And of course, he also has this accessory, which is basically the mask pulled down. So when you have the unmasked head sculpt on the figure, you can put this over his neck so it looks like he removed his mask, right? You pulled it down, which is really cool. I like the fact that they included that. I won't be able to show that in this video because my copy of this figure is not friendly with me. This head sculpt does not like to come off like easily. So every time I want to swap the head, I have to use a hairdryer to heat it up a little bit just to take this head sculpt off. And most of my Marvel Legend figures that do include alternate head sculpts have never had this sort of problem. Like, they usually are pretty easy to take off. This one, every time I try, without using heat, it feels like I'm going to break something. So I don't want to risk it. And by this point, you guys have probably seen what this figure looks like with this head sculpt on, and of course that accessory. Like, this is not anything new. So, a simple Google search will give you that image as well. So, yeah, I apologize for not being able to show that, but that is a problem with my copy of the figure, being very stubborn here with the head sculpt. So, all right, let's talk about aesthetics. Talk about the body buck, the details, and I think the body buck they used for this Wolverine figure isn't bad because, of course, this body buck is designed for Wolverine only. And if you have been collecting Marvel Legends for a very long time, you would have seen this body buck countless times for Wolverine. It is not new. It's been used quite a lot. And I don't know if this body buck has ever been used for any other character. I think it's always just been for Wolverine. It's not like this body buck over here. Let's just bring this in. So, back then it was called the Bucky Cap body buck, and then they updated it when they released the Vulcan figure, and then they changed the body entirely. So this is like the new generic male body buck for male superheroes that they are using for almost every figure now. But for Wolverine here, I think this is strictly just for Wolverine. I don't think there's been any other figures that have used this particular body buck that is not a Wolverine figure. Now, if there is, then I'm wrong. But again, in my last video with Cyclops, I said that I haven't collected Marvel Legends for a long time. I started collecting very recently, so I don't know the history of what body bucks have been used and reused, but I do know that the generic ones, of course, have been reused countless times because these are made to be used for almost every character, right? So, but this one over here, I don't think is the same case. So, um, and the way that they applied the paint on here, or the patterns, I think they came out okay. I mean, most of it is printed on, I think. I don't think any of it is actually painted. It's just printed. Um, and again, there's not a lot of like details in terms of texturing going on here because with a lot of comic book figures that they put out, they tend to do stuff like this more. They don't really like texture the suits or anything in any way. Like, I guess the only thing you could say is texture or sculpting is just like his muscles. But in terms of like, stuff like this, oh, I almost pulled the wrong figure. Like what we saw in the Captain America figure, like this is actual texture work that they sculpted in and stuff, right? And all that. So it's not like a common thing that they do with comic book figures. So yeah, very simple. And this is another issue that I have with this figure that I think is very lazy on Hasbro's part. And I'm probably going to just fix this on my own using Gundam markers. Over here on the side of his arms, these are actually sculpted. And these are supposed to be his, like, arm hair. And what's surprising is that in recent figures that they put out for Wolverine, I think the last one they released was what was it called? I don't remember what that comic run was from. But it sold out like crazy. He was in the blue and yellow suit like this. Man, I'm already forgetting the name of what that one was called. You know what figure I'm talking about. I think this stuff was painted. Because Wolverine has arm hair. And notice how they sculpted all this on his arm. Like it's actually sculpted. But they didn't bother to paint any of it. And I think that's really lazy on this figure. Because it's like, well, why did you start painting it on those newer ones, but then all the other ones you've made in the past, you just left it this way? So I think I'm going to have to go back, use a Gundam marker, and just kind of apply some colors to it so it looks natural, because this doesn't look natural. This looks really odd that it's not painted. So this is like the only thing I dislike about this figure. Oh, no, not just that. Of course, with the soft PVC thing as well. So two things I dislike on this figure. Soft PVC with the claws, and this being left unpainted. So, because I know that there were some recent ones that they put out for Wolverine in figure form that these were painted. So, really strange. Another thing that I like about the sculpting is the fact that these shoulder things right here, they don't really get in the way. I like the fact that they move. His arms can still lift up okay, even with these shoulder pieces because they're connected to his arm. So, sometimes like these can definitely hinder articulation. But I like the fact that it's a separate piece because when it's a separate piece, his arm can just move out like this with no problems. Usually if these are like connected to the figure, they will cause articulation hindrance. So his belt is nicely sculpted. It's pretty simplistic. Oh, and another thing that I think they did a really bad job on is his stubble. Because Wolverine has a little bit of like, I don't want to say like a beard, but he does have, some hair going on with his face. There's not a whole lot of dots there. So another thing that I could probably fix by doing some simple customization. And down here with the boots, pretty normal. Not a whole lot of details going on, but it's nicely painted. And yeah, that's basically the aesthetics on this figure. Okay, let's talk about the articulation. So for articulation, his head, he can look up really good, so that's not bad. He can look down, which is also pretty good. As for his arms, they do kind of go out. Not exactly, but they still can lift out. It can go back and forth with without anything hindering it, which is good. He does have a butterfly joint right there, so his arms can lean inward to his chest a little bit, and it works, so it's not too bad. He does have this hinge, so there is no upper diaphragm cut here. All he has is just being able to lean forward, lean backward, and of course he has rotation in his waist area. As for his legs, let's see if he can do the splits. Wow, you can actually spread out his legs pretty good. What the heck? That's kind of impressive. Okay, so his legs can definitely spread out like that. In terms of a kick, let me move the arms down. Pretty good. Okay. And speaking of the arms, let's see if he can double joint. Yes, he can. He has double joint as well. So, yeah, definitely some good articulation there. Swivel up here with the arms. And, of course, his hands do have swivel. So, really like the articulation. And look at that. With the butterfly joint, you can get him into some cool poses. But, again, these cool poses would be better if he had, a more expressive face with the mask, in my opinion. And for his legs down here, he does have a die cut that does move. So there's that. He does have double jointed in the legs. There we go. It actually works. It's kind of stiff, but it still gets out there. He does he have rotation here? Oh, he does have rotation here. Wow, it's like a hidden little joint. That's pretty cool. Okay. He does have articulation at the feet, and they do swivel. No toe articulation, of course, because most Marvel Legends do not have that. And I believe that is all the articulation. Yes, it is. Okay, that is all the articulation on this figure. So now let's do some comparisons with other figures. So let me put him back on the table. There he is right there. Let's bring in some other characters. Of course, we got to have him with his good old buddy. Let me try to get him to stand first before I put him on the table. Okay, there we go. Oh no, his legs. No, don't fall over. All right, here we go. There he is with Cyclops. So of course the two of them are, they're friends and sometimes frenemies because they both have, same interests in a certain person they both have feelings for. So there's that whole love drama. So there's that. And here he is with that other certain person that I'm talking about. And there he is with Jean Grey. Pretty cool. And here he is with Rogue. And then, of course, the best dual pair from episode 1 of 97, which I didn't even know was even possible, but it was really cool to see that his claws can utilize Gambit's powers. Yeah, these two are quite an impressive pair right there in that first episode. That was crazy. That was the first time I've seen anything like that, and I don't think anyone knew that was even possible, and then they just did it. So, yeah. So there he is with Gambit. And, of course, here he is with the other best guy from 97 in that episode where the two of them were fighting those humanoid sentinels. I forgot what they were called already. It's been a little bit. But there he is with Nightcrawler. And, yeah, these two were just phenomenal in that episode, too. And I know I have his tail all the way up on his head. But, yeah, there's that. And, of course, having a Hulk figure and now a Wolverine figure, you got to put these two together, right? And, we could try to get them into an action pose. Let's just try this for fun. So, let me try to get him into some sort of pose, like he's going to take on the Hulk or something. I want to end the video with the two of them looking like they're about to throw down. So, give me a second here. Let me just put these two together. So, there he is right there. And then there's Hulk getting ready for a fight. I'm going to try to just do like a simple pose, not anything too complicated. All right, let's do this. All right, something simplistic. I could probably do better when I'm taking a photo of some kind, but you know, when I'm recording like this, I'm not at my best. So let's just do something like this. Wait, hold up. Hulk, what are you doing? There we go. There we go. Oh, and I knocked Wolverine over. All right. There we go. We got Wolverine and the Hulk. Of course, if you remember that movie, Wolverine versus Hulk, the animated film, yeah, now you can have these two duking it out in action figure form if you have these two figures. And yeah, there's our look at the X-Men 97 Wolverine. And I like this figure. You know, there are certain things that are good about it. There are certain things that are, you know, not good about it. But it gets the job done. And I think it's a pretty okay Wolverine figure. So if you found today's review informative, do give this video a like. If you want to subscribe for more action figure content and whatever else I do on this channel, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care and I will see you in the next video.